It's been a while since I've been back on YouTube or doing anything live, recorded, you name it. But I figure I'm going to try something a little different, something quick, and something before I go to bed. Maybe something like this I can start going forward. There's always something to consider and think about when you watch something in wrestling. And we just got done with one of the pay-per-views, one of the big four pay-per-views of WWE. I must say, it was not a bad show. I was pretty impressed. Hello, everybody. Good evening to you from the East Coast, 11:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Noah Foster, and I am a simple man. It's been a trying week this past week in my life, but I'm back to try and bring some more fun, joyous, simple wrestling content to you in this new form I'm starting called The Simple Summary. From now on, pretty much an hour at the max after a show ends, pay-per-view-wise, I'll be back with you with a simple summary regarding my thoughts on the show. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it, and I hope you enjoy this whenever you may watch it. So today, November 22nd, marked WWE Survivor Series 2020, categorized the best of the best as champions face champions and Raw and SmackDown, of course, battle for brand supremacy. Or at least so you would think, but that was more of an underlying thought as the score wasn't really mentioned, acknowledged, or competitively talked about among the commentary. As we had some great matches overall, I must say, decent time, decent quality, but there was more so an underlying idea that really stole the show. So let's briefly talk about the show. I'll first acknowledge the kickoff where we had a dual brand over the top rope battle royal, though pre-show kickoffs don't really matter. I will say this. I thought Dominic Mysterio looked very strong in this, but in the end, underhanded tactics, something like Edge and Royal Rumbles when you think about days past. The Miz got the win, taking Dominic over the top rope, winning for his brand and for USA. Of course, holding the Money in the Bank contract. You would hope with him holding the Money in the Bank contract, he probably would go into WrestleMania if they choose to go Hollywood next year, that he would go in basically and maybe cash in some point in the near future, maybe before this year ends. We'll have to wait and see what's next and how this win carries Miz's momentum, despite the fact coming off a loss from Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw. As we go into the show, our opener actually was the Men's Survivor Series match. And I agree, Brendel, and thank you for tuning in. And it was very interesting as Seth Rollins, he came in very despondent, reluctant, kind of like dead, it seemed, in and outward. And literally the match gets underway. We get some good one-on-one showings. But the most key points I take here is Seth Rollins literally offered himself up as a sacrifice for the greater good, simply asking a man to do their job. In this case, it was Sheamus who bro-kicked him in the next week, and Seth Rollins was the first one eliminated from Team SmackDown. I must say this was surprising. I thought Otis was very strong throughout this match, demonstrating his strength, overcoming the power of both Keith Lee and Braun Strowman. But to expedite how this match went, I'm kind of surprised considering the despondentness across all of Team Raw and AJ Styles' efforts to try and bring the team together, including them coming off a loss from Retribution. Team Raw pulled it out with a clean sweep. They eliminated everybody. And at the end, it was the bodyguard that came into play that protected AJ Styles from being eliminated, as, of course, there was a blind tag, and Keith Lee out of nowhere catches the last man part of the team into a spirit bomb, power bomb, the best way I would describe it. And at the end of the day, Team Raw, you thought they would collide each other's throats. They didn't. They stood tall. They posed. The bodyguard, of course, just dead, standing there in a weird tall suit, taller than the ring ropes. Seriously, what's this guy's endgame? What's this guy's plan? What's this guy's name? But I must say, this surprised me. Now, why I called Raw pick up the win here, because I thought the team basically looked stronger than Team SmackDown, which had a bunch of odd and ends when you consider it was Baron Corbin, it was Otis out of nowhere, and Seth literally sacrificing himself, leaving Matt Riddle. I must say, the lineup was surprising and oddly put together, which is why I went with Team Raw. Now I'm curious tomorrow night if AJ's going to host like a celebration. Are we going to get like some teasers of announcements? I was the better player. No, I was the better player, etc. I'm very curious where we go from here, but we're just going to have to wait and see. And as far as SmackDown, well, I guess King Corbin can continue to fuse with freaking, what is the word I'm looking for? Otis and Jey Uso, of course. He kind of carried a story throughout this night. He was the last one for his team that was eliminated. And basically, he had to face Roman Reigns' judgment. where basically he was rejected from the seat at the table, which I thought, okay, so how do we pick this up? Do we pick this up because he lifted him, asked him to leave the arena? Do we pick this up on SmackDown? Or do we see this somehow come into play later tonight? Because Roman Reigns still has a match. We would have to wait and see. But we won't have to wait and see actually that long, but we'll talk more about that later. Following this, we go into tag team championship action. Oh, no, we don't. I'm sorry. We go into the mid-card titles, I think. Was it the mid-card titles or was it the tag team match next? I don't remember. I'm still just got Undertaker on my mind, so apologies, folks, in my out of order. Just say Botchamania, but I'm just going to go with this. United States Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Both these men going in as heels. Both these men going in here with a game plan. Bobby Lashley clearly the more powerful of the two. You would think this means Sami Zayn will be the more calculated of the two. But all of his trigger tricks and plans didn't necessarily work out for him. As in the end, even with MVP, I guess, tripping him, MVP throws him back into the ring, and Sami Zayn finally passes out to the full Nelson reverse tight mascot maneuver by Bobby Lashley. He tried to deal with the turnbuckle pad. He tried to get a near count out, but he kept being distracted with the bodyguards known as the Hurt Business all around ringside and Bobby Lashley's corners in the black and gold. At the end of the day, I feel like if the Hurt Business wasn't there, it might have been a different result because we've seen how resourceful Sami Zayn could be. But it just wasn't to be. What also was surprised me is Retribution didn't get involved in this either. I thought they still had beef with the Hurt Business. I guess I was wrong. And as far as Sami Zayn goes, we've already seen the despondent disrespect to him and his title reign and himself as champion and the reluctantness of him as champion, according to the company's eyes. I feel like we're setting up a hit program with him and Daniel Bryan. Would not surprise me if these two face each other for the IC title at TLC. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But hey, strong win for Bobby Lashley. Makes him seem dominant. Makes the Hurt Business seem legitimate. Does it help the United States Championship? Meh. Because there's still no opponents for the United States title, I see. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, following that, I'm going to talk about the tag team championship match as the New Day took on Street Profits. Both of these teams have mutual respect for one another, really were jockeying for a position, having fun with one another. New Day seemed more teasing, heelish at times, messing literally with the solo cups. Street Profits with a bit of a pontification, literally singing the funeral of the New Day ahead of going out there. I like the solidarity though with the New Day, Big E being out there with them in full Gears of War attire because all three of them are in Gears of War. And I thought that was a really nice touch. But of course, Big E was sent back, or he went to the back because, again, wasn't involved in the match, not on Raw, not part of the New Day anymore. But I guess you New Day for life when it comes to these three. At the end of the day, they pulled out everything. We got Midnight Hour, we got the Frog Splash, but kudos to the way the New Day worked on the abdomen of Montez Ford that's hindering him, unable to capitalize fast enough on the Frog Splash for the win. And at the end of the day, literally, we find Montez Ford still in a move from Kofi's playbook for a near fall, but then a unique avalanche blockbuster maneuver gave Street Profits the biggest win in their career. You gotta imagine if that's going to mean bigger and brighter things for them going forward on the run as tag team champions on SmackDown. And what does this mean now for the New Day? How does this affect them going forward? They're already established tag team. Who's going to face them and hold this against them too? I see there being more tag team competition on SmackDown than I do on Monday Night Raw. So again, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. But I thought this was a very good match. And again, Montez Ford, MVP of the match, looked like a star. Got a little bit of Michael Jackson from him. But anyway, I guess he's always been doing that. I just never noticed the glove thing. Must have been the first time he did the actual Michael Jackson call. I was just waiting for him to do like a moonwalk or something or a smooth criminal tilt. Maybe that's still to come. Congratulations, though, to the Street Profits. Then let's go into the other traditional Survivor Series matches. We had the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series match. It was Nia Jax, Cena Baszler, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Lana representing Team Raw, taking on Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Bayley, Natalya, and Ruby Riott. This was okay. I don't know how to describe this, but if you look at our latest podcast I did called The Sauce, you'll get my reaction towards the end of this match. Anyway, I thought Bianca Belair was very strong here. Nia Jax was kind of like a brick wall that didn't do much, but just stood as a barrier. And I feel like the most impressive player to me was definitely Peyton Royce. It really allowed her to shine in this match. I've been saying it for the longest time since NXT. Peyton Royce, to me, has potential to be a champion in WWE. She's already been tag champion. She's definitely getting more out of this singles run, it seems, out of the Iconics split. And I feel like she definitely has potential to go after the Raw Women's Championship. So I hope she really does. She had some strong counterintuitive offense here against one particular Bailey, who claimed herself to be the captain. But ironically, she was one of the, I think, first eliminated, if not the first eliminated from the actual team, which then caused the coach to step up, Natalia, to take over. And she was able to, unfortunately, lock Peyton in a sharpshooter type of counter, caused her to tap out. As this match progressed, though, and Lana got a tiny bit internal action. She basically was bullied here. She was like the last kid on the playground. I can relate. Or the guy that's just, in the lunchroom by himself while everyone else is doing their own thing, like, popularity type vibe or focus on schoolwork. She was the last one out and literally did nothing for practically all of this match. And it really came to show as Raw continued to show their dominance. And as we continue down the line here, counterintuitiveness aside, and good tag team chemistry, I gotta admit, between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, it seemed, throughout this match. Literally, it comes down to Bianca Belair after Ruby Riott literally gets incapacitated after trying to counter a Karafuda clutch into a takeover pin, but still had locked in. And the ref was distracted by Nia Jax. And this literally led to Shayna Baszler literally trapping Bianca Belair, it seemed, dead weight in the Karafuda clutch, getting herself disqualified and eliminated, leaving Nia Jax and Lana just to stand there. There was an interesting avalanche spot, by the way, too, by Bayley and Pam, where they took everybody out. But again, Lana wasn't involved. She just stood there on the steps. It looked like she was trying to maybe do something one step for herself, but she just went along with what Shayna and Nia said. Anyways, this match was literally coming down to the end stretch. It was literally Nia Jax and Lana and Bianca Belair, but Lana again afterthought. And literally these two are nearly about to count out each other until Bianca Belair takes Nia Jax over the barricade and doing nothing but standing there on the steps. Lana was the sole survivor and won the match for Team Raw. Now, there are two things I can say about this. One, it was the first time I haven't seen her go through a table. But then again, this wasn't Monday Night Raw. Two, was this the plan all along by Shayna Baszler and or Nia Jax? And are they going to take credit for this? And three, does this mean Lana will finally get a bit more respect and recognition on Monday Night Raw and maybe not be a running gag going through announce table? I think that's highly unlikely in all likelihood, to quote my friend Aaron Riff. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But all I can say is this. It felt like to me that Raw was going to win this when I looked at the fact that I thought Shayna Baszler was the strongest foundation to the team, though she eliminated herself. And I thought she would be the sole survivor. When I look at Team SmackDown, I thought that pretty much after I saw the kickoff show, Natalya, Bianca Belair, they were going to have a fight, or Bayley was going to have a fallout because people are not going to respect her as the captain. Then again, Bayley got eliminated first, and I'm sure that's going to be held against her. But kudos to Team Raw sticking it out in the end, getting the win for their brand. Again, no scores, though. And we'll have to wait and see what happens from there. Now, moving forward, we go into another women's bout, a bout of champions, as Asuka took on Sasha. And I must say, this match was the match I was looking forward to the most and thought could be really 50-50. And it exceeded my expectations. These two just had a pure wrestling classic as they tried to out-wrestle each other. Both of them going for the aces in the hole, the Asuka lock, though Asuka seemed to be more intuitive here with her stance and how she wanted to beat Sasha here, going more often for the ankle lock, it seemed. And then, of course, you had Sasha Banks, who kept trying to lock in the Banks statement after doing multiple backstabbers, but couldn't fully lock it in or keep Asuka in place. As Asuka continued to fight out of it, Sasha used her in-ring experience to try and counter that into multiple near pinfall combinations, including crucifix, matchbox, and jackknife covers. There was some crazy codebreaker spots here, too, that both exchanged among each other. And as we get towards the end of this match, literally it looked like Asuka was setting up Sasha dead to rights in the middle of the ring, and Sasha just basically catches Asuka. Uses the whole momentum against Asuka that was going for, I would imagine, the running hip attack. Surprised she did not go for the mist at all here either. And literally, Sasha Banks just catches Asuka in a roll-up and gets the win. I was pleasantly surprised by this because I thought for sure that there was going to be some stupid distraction or interference type mechanic involved, considering who's been after Asuka potentially for the Women's Championship. Right? Mia Yim. I'm just saying. Better Mia Yim than Megan. I'm just saying. And I thought that Carmella was going to show her butt here too, but I'm glad neither one of them didn't. And it was just a pure one of my wrestling times. Even at the end, neither one of them basically showed heelless dynamics. It was just Sasha Banks. She owned the ring like a boss and went out as the winner. Asuka went out the loser. And I'm sure that's going to, probably affect Asuka's psyche. And Sasha now has got more confidence than ever as champion. I feel like she really needed this win here, and I'm glad she got it. Absolutely well deserved. Very good match, but now we know that Sasha's got to worry about Carmella. I'm pretty sure they're going to set that up for TLC. And as far as Asuka, I think it's got to be Mia Yim at this point. I can't see anybody else, though I would like to see Peyton Royce get an opportunity or at least number one contender match because I thought she really showed out in that traditional Survivor Series match. But again, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Which leads us to the last match of the night, as the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre, took on Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And while this match had a slow build at first and both men were filling out each other, it really picked up towards the end to the point that both men were just constantly frustrated to the fact they could not put the other way. They could not beat one another. Multiple spear encounters by Roman Reigns, including after planning Drew McIntyre through the announce table with a Samoan drop, bringing him back into the ring and spearing him again. Still was not enough. Even after Drew McIntyre went for a Claymore and got speared out of his boots again, everything Roman gave Drew McIntyre would not put him away. Drew McIntyre came super close off the Future Shock DDT, a move he doesn't really pull out that often, actually. And I thought he was going to win it here, too. Paul Heyman sweating, and Paul Heyman just wondering, what does Roman have to do to beat this guy? And apparently my co was exercising social distancing, too, after their table got destroyed. And literally, Drew McIntyre got speared for the barricade. Things really changed, though, the dynamic of this match when I was wondering how they protect the champion in defeat when the ref gets bumped. And I'm like, oh, good grief, what's going to happen now? But, of course, following that, what finally happens, he gets Claymored. And I'm like, Drew McIntyre could potentially win this. By the way, botch with the short entrance, by the way, on the entrance, Drew. Tough break. And I thought Drew had him here. Drew, you can see the emotion. He's like, I got this. I'm so close. He is dead to rights. It wasn't to be. As he continued to fight on, he then eats dreaded low blow after Jey Uso apparently never left, got involved, was clearly out to prove something, as Roman said earlier. You need to show them why they need to respect our family. You need to demand respect and authority from your team as a leader. And again, this kind of came into play here where Jey had enough distraction to allow Roman to hit a dreaded low blow, followed by Jey doing the same thing. And then Roman, one last time with the guillotine chokehold. Another ref finally comes down, and literally they protect Drew McIntyre in defeat, but he still is defeated. As Drew McIntyre's body just gives out on him. No verbal submission, no physical submission, no pinfall, just body give out. Roman Reigns prevails, which I'm sure no one was surprised. But I thought that the story they built into this match otherwise was very interesting. From the contract sign that felt very authentic to no table smash, no mics, just two men talking to each other, both journeymen in their own right, both great champions in their own right, with respect, but Roman always calls Drew his favorite number two. I'm the superior champion. SmackDown the superior show. No one gives a damn about Raw because I'm not on it. I like that realism. That's the one time I feel like brand supremacy really mattered here. But in the end, this wasn't so much a battle of brand supremacy, but it was a battle of the better champion. And Roman prevailed. And also, subtle epilogue, Jey, he did get some respect back from his tribal chief. And it seems like he got a seat back at the table. So I liked how they built this kind of story. And honestly, I wasn't even thinking about that being involved in this match. As I look at Drew McIntyre, who was completely despondent in defeat, you got to respect the man's effort. In fact, he came this close, and it was a complete opposite dynamic versus how these two went in WrestleMania 35. Really good match. I can only imagine what's on Drew McIntyre's mind now, who's going to come after him. There's Sheamus, there's Bliss and The Fiend. I can see him being on a moment of bliss, and this sets up a program with him and Bray. Maybe Sheamus finally turns against him, too. This whole friendship backfires, because that's a big-time feud I'm waiting for as well. Hopefully they don't go back to freaking Randy Orton, because I'm tired of that nonsense like Ciampa sleeping. But really good match. Mad respect to both champions. And overall, I must say, besides the women's elimination match, a finish. This has been a really good show, match quality wise. But that wasn't the reason why we're here, I feel like. And I feel like, again, this is all understudy. As we look at the one last thing to close the night, the true main event. Not a match, but a segment for eternity. Undertaker's farewell. As a plethora of legends from the past that have faced The Undertaker and have just garnered so much respect for what he's done, including but not limited to Rikishi, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Kane, Mick Foley, The Godfather, and those two go back beyond WWE for those that remember. Jeff Hardy, who of course is like one of the young newcomers. You remember he put him over that Intercontinental Championship ladder match. And of course, really throwback, the Gilhams. I was really surprised by that. Oh, and of course we had Triple H too. I love the fact he had the NXT logo at the roof of the Thunderdome. Shout out to the Superior brand. I will always commit to that. Black and gold for life. Anyway, as all these men just gather in respect of The Undertaker, we then get this epic video package that really showcases what The Undertaker has meant, not only to us as fans, but all these great men in the ring. Really demonstrates his legacy that he left on this business forever. And just when you think, before the man himself comes out, and of course everyone, well Kane's doing social distance, smart man, all those legends are gone, who is out in the middle of the ring but the one man that probably has shown the most humility and humanity to anybody else in existence, probably more than his own family? The chairman, Vince McMahon. And literally, I thought he was going to break down in tears as he thinks about this is the end of an era, but a legacy that will live on forever, to put it in my own words, because I'm not going to plagiarize him. He gives us that final introduction, presents us The Undertaker in the most epic of entrances I could ever think The Undertaker could have as his last entrance. Tesla coil music combined with a hologramic. Everything about this entrance was just absolutely magnificent. I had nothing but chills and respect, and just I was in awe and amazement at what I was seeing. As the gong tolled and the smoke gathered, the moon rise and the flames lit full of inferno and fire. This ominous presence that we've come together as fans to respect. For 30 years, for me, since 1992, finally came into the ring. Darkness shrouded. Lights were raised for a little bit. And so was The Undertaker himself in the longest entrance I can remember, but the most powerful one I've seen as well. He comes into the ring. He talks about his legacy, how he's put men to rest, but now it's finally for him, his time, to rest in peace. As the bell just tolls and darkness shrouds the ring more than usual, he kneels and pays respect one last time to the man that really defined The Undertaker, Paul Bearer. And we see the bow and the hat, and he gets up and he tips us and he walks out. And following that, the only things I could think of is the incredible matches and the legacy he left. WrestleMania 25 for me will always be my all-time favorite Undertaker match. Shawn Michaels will probably be my favorite rival to The Undertaker, with the history and the equality they left. I think about those that presented The Undertaker in a way that made you excited, like Teddy Long, who says, "You will go one-on-one with The Undertaker!" And as he left, he gave us that subtle look, staying 100% pure in character, stone face. He looks up towards the moon, gives us that one last fist bump. Lightning strikes across the entire Thunderdome, and he walks on through the ambient smoking atmosphere, never to be seen again. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here before you as a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. But if it wasn't for The Undertaker, I don't think I would be a fan of sports entertainment that I am today. The prestige, the legacy, the ambience, the presence, the matches, the stories, the respect that has come out from this is unparalleled and never will be duplicated. There will never be another Undertaker. God bless Mark Calloway for everything he's given us, for everything he's given WWE, and for everybody that he's had a positive impact on. I look at this and I just have nothing else to say but thank you, Taker, and farewell. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my brief retrospective on Survivor Series this year. I really do hope that you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Overall, outside the Undertaker stuff, the show I give a B, but the Undertaker stuff was unparalleled. I thought this was a really good show, and if there's one thing I can say about WWE lately, their pay-per-view quality has definitely gone up. Now, where we go from here, I don't know. I hope Raw gives us some interesting new developments. TLC, hopefully it'll be noteworthy as the last pay-per-view. But next up, we got NXT War Games. And until then, I thank you all for tuning in to this short, simple summary. If you want more of these, please let me know. If you want to know more about, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, this YouTube channel, PlayStation, and Foster1916. Eventually, I'll be back on Twitch doing gaming content as well at nfoster191625. Support No DQ, support WrestleJoy, support Pro Wrestling the Heart of it, folks. Support my friends. We do the podcast called The Sauce. Follow us at The Sauce Wrestling Podcast on all your social media platforms. Support the Bulletcast and my friend Cindy G's Into the Strats for Bulletcast. And as always, I'd like to close. Support wrestling as big and small. And let's just keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, I thank you so much for tuning in and listening in. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bell when the next video goes on this channel. Hit the subscribe button to know the next time I go live or record a video. Keep helping me grow this YouTube community. Shout out to all 16090 that's been with me on this fun YouTuber creator's journey. It's not anytime soon. And for those that have been praying for my mom, I thank you. That's why I've been gone. She should be home soon, and she's doing much better. Times are tough. There are moments that we look at that test us as humanity, that brings out humility as well. I hope you look at today as a fan of sports entertainment and just really look at the good that WWE has brought you, whether it's just one time or a plethora of times, based on what The Undertaker has provided for you, if nothing else. Until next time, take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families, enjoy wrestling, and I agree, Brando, we will all miss The Undertaker. And again, please be safe, wear a mask, take this seriously, treasure your family as long. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. No one is safe from this, including me. And until next time, again, thank you, Taker, and thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Farewell, Taker. Farewell.